Yes,
So
yes.
I think we're just good to go. Okay, Mr. Ahmadi, we're ready. Okay, let's go. Can you hear us?
Okay. Do you have my voice?
Yep,
Yes.
sure. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you very much. At the very beginning, I would like to thank you for everything, for arranging the conference. Let's just start. The topic that I'm going to present today is phrasal complexification in academic text, a corpus-informed analysis of disciplinary writing variation. Okay. I would like to start by looking at the construct of linguistic complexity as one important dimension of language proficiency, performance, and development. Then I would like to turn to the issue of academic writing, in particular, research articles and its macrostructure, lexicogrammatical and disciplinary variations. Okay.
Shall I move to the second, the third person, what slide?
No, the same slide. Syntactic complexity. Syntactic complexity has become an important construct in L2 writing evaluation and research. The reason why complexity has gained increasing attention from researchers is that the arrangements of words to clauses indicates a combinational property of the language, which can be reliably used to assess acquisition. Given the importance of syntactic complexity, a large number of studies on L2 writing used measures of syntactic complexity as either dependent or independent variables. Although multidimensionality of the construct of linguistic complexity has been stressed frequently in literature, the bulk of these studies merely relied on causal measures, ignoring other important measures such as morphological or phrasal complexity. Recently, however, phrasal complexity has gained extensive treatment in academic writing, mainly due to its predictability. Accordingly, this study is the extension of the current trend in investigation of phrasal complexification in academic writing. Next slide, please. Research articles, as most important sub-register of professional academic writing, have received great amount of attention, as they provide valuable academic means for exploring genre variation and disciplinary studies. A considerable proportion of previous studies on academic writing embodies genre-based investigation of RAs across a wide range of disciplines. While these studies broaden our knowledge of disciplinary variation of micro and macro structures of the text, they regard RAs as rigid genres with similar distribution of language features across these different sections. Although some studies put a more specialized perspective on research articles and investigated sub-registers of introduction, methods, results, and discussions within or across a number of disciplines, these studies produce fragmented knowledge of these disciplines in their entirety of the construction and knowledge features. Thus, there has been related research to explore linguistic differences across text internal sections of research articles. Next slide, please.
Hold on a sec, please. Okay.
Although an RA in its entirety may serve multiple communicative functions, each section serves a purpose that demonstrates the worthiness of the scientist's contribution to the field. The investigation of linguistic features that typify each section of an RA can address the question of whether the relationship between form and function results in the finer-grained register within RAs. Furthermore, while genre-based writing perspective genre-based writing represents how writers use language in text to respond to the needs and conventions of a particular displaced community, we need to know how part genres shape the whole text to make it fit for the communicative purposes it is designed to fulfill. Therefore, the analysis of text intrinsic sections of research articles offers a more profound insight into how RA are constructed. Linguistic variations across RA sections also inform the design of genre-based pedagogical activities aimed at promoting second language English for research publication purposes, or ERPP, writers' awareness of the connections and differences among different RA part genres. Lexicogrammatical features contribute to compressed discourse style. In particular, the analysis and comparison of linguistic features that contribute to compressed writing and cluster across sub-registers of RAs inform academic writing teachers and course planners in English for general or specific purposes to design common core or discipline-specific materials to help novice students, writers to be familiarized with writing conventions of academic genres. A key factor in understanding complexity in academic writing is therefore to consider the influence of academic disciplines, because knowing how language features contribute to the complexification of a text in different disciplines allows to learners to decipher meaning which may otherwise be hidden. Next slide. Phrasal complexity features are not merely grammatical choices characterizing advanced academic writing. Rather, they are textual norms that prepare L2 writers for disciplinary communities in which they are seeking membership. The appropriate manipulation of lexicogrammatical features of noun phrase complexity is an indication of discursive literacy skills, which is realized by conformity of grammatical and lexical resources to conventions of academic disciplines and text types. Disciplinary differences in the density of noun phrase modifiers across text internal sections also facilitate the understanding of whether disciplinary norms exert an influence on phrasal complexification of RAs. Using a subset of Biber et al. 2011 hypothesized stages of writing development, we attempt to analyze the frequency and distribution of noun phrase complexity features across sections of RAs in two disciplines of applied linguistics and clinical medicine. Accordingly, this study seeks to address the following two research questions. In what ways do noun phrase complexity features in RAs between two writer groups differ in frequency and distribution in applied linguistics and clinical medicine? To what extent does noun phrase complexity differ in frequency and distribution across different subsections of RAs in applied linguistics and clinical medicine? Let's go to the next slide, please.
Okay, go on.
That brings us to the method section. For the construction of the corpus, we drew on research articles in applied linguistics, which is abbreviated as AL, and research articles in clinical medicine, or CM. We used research articles from leading journals in applied linguistics, language learning, TESOL Quarterly, Modern Language Journal, and English for specific purposes. On the other hand, for clinical medicine, we used Molecular Psychiatry, American Journal of Psychiatry, British Journal of Psychiatry, and Journal of Psychiatry. In this study, we were looking for grammatical features of interest that included noun phrase modifiers proposed by Biber et al. 2011. So the present study aimed to investigate 15 noun phrase modifiers as identified by Biber et al. 2011. Noun phrase modification features are obtained from developmental stages of syntactic complexity proposed by Biber et al. 2011. The developmental index contains 5 stages, which are categorized based on 3 grammatical types: finite dependent clauses, non-finite dependent clauses, and dependent phrases. So in this study, the purpose was to examine finite dependent clauses, including relative clauses and noun modifiers, complement clauses controlled by nouns, non-finite dependent clauses, including ing and ed participle as noun post modifiers, and prepositions plus non-finite complement clauses as post modifiers. And number 3, dependent phrases, including attributive adjectives, participles, noun as pre-modifiers, possessive nouns, of phrases as noun post modifiers, other prepositional phrases as noun post modifiers, adjectives, noun as pre-modifiers, appositives, and multiple prepositional phrases, and noun as noun post modifiers. Next slide, please. In order to identify noun phrase modifiers, we used both automatic extraction tools and manual check of data. So these lexicogrammatical features were identified through automatic analysis and manual check of data. Automatic analysis was employed because it allowed for the investigation of large corpora with high degree of reliability. Automatic extraction tools, however, are not able to identify particular language features such as prepositional phrases or zero relativizers. As a result, by employing automatic and manual check of data, we were able to identify and extract all noun phrase modifiers proposed by Biber et al. 2011. As for a data analysis framework, after the identification of noun phrase modifiers, they were normalized to 1,000 words. This practice has the advantage of allowing researchers to compare the text of different lengths and to employ a per metric test. The normalized data were put into SPSS version 25, and multiple one-way analysis of variance or ANOVA procedures were run to find differences across different sections of research articles in each of the identified features. It was followed by pairwise comparisons for all significant results. Independent sample t-tests were also used to compare the frequency of occurrences of noun phrase modifiers between two writer groups in applied linguistics and clinical medicine. Given multiple tests were involved, bufferonic correction was employed to adjust for the p-values. Let's go to the results, please. The results obtained from independent sample t-test, as shown in table 4, suggest that writer groups differed significantly in the use of noun phrase modifiers in all IMRD sections of RAs in applied linguistics and clinical medicine. RAs in clinical medicine relied on the larger number of noun phrase modifiers in introduction, methods, results, and discussion. As you can see the table, there's difference between two writer groups in all sections. Next slide, please. The results obtained from one-way ANOVA in table 5 reveals statistically significant differences for 2 of 6 noun phrase modification types in applied linguistics: attributive adjectives and relative clauses. Other noun phrase modifiers were not statistically significant with regard to their frequency difference across sections. In clinical medicine, on the other hand, attributive adjectives, noun pre-modifiers, relative clauses, and prepositional phrases differ significantly with regard to their frequency across sections. Next, please.
You have to be brief a bit. Yeah, you have to be brief because we are running out of time.
Yeah, that's going to finish in 2 or 3 minutes. Let's skip this section, to save time. Yeah.
Go to the next slide.
Yeah, please. Next one, please. Yes, that's it. The graph shows normalized mean frequency distribution of attributive adjective in 2 groups of writers. As this clear, the writers in clinical medicine relied heavily on all sections of research articles compared to the counterparts in applied linguistics. Next one, please. And this is true for relative clause as well. And that brings us to the final slide, is discussion and conclusions. Noun phrase modifiers are not considered textual features characterizing the genre of academic writing generally. Rather, they are discipline-specific writing conventions. The difference in the frequency of attributive adjectives across RA sections may be related to the course function and chief aim of each section. The results obtained from this study also suggest that hard science is, by its very nature, more compact than soft science. L2 academic writers in the field of hard sciences may need to be explicitly and contextually aware of the ways by which pre-modifiers contribute to compact discourse style. And finally, the uneven distribution of noun phrase modifiers across RA sections, introduction and discussion, place heavier reliance on noun phrase modifiers than methods and results. And the use of section-specific modifiers stress the genre-based approach to academic writing courses, which underline genre conventions of IMRD sections in RAs. Thank you very much for listening.